So, mowing season is over, but my friend and co-worker Keith brought this to me. He says it doesn't prime, and he brought this to me 1 year ago. We looked it up on the spreadsheet, my dear secretary that lives with me, and he brought this in last year for a tune-up and a prime repair, right? So that's telling a little story now. So we're gonna go right for it. We're just gonna see if it runs a little bit. I'm gonna take the door off the air cleaner, have a look, squirt a little gas in there and see if it starts, and then we'll carry on. I doubt very much whether it's squirting fuel. Oh, the air filter is recoverable. Flashlight. I'm getting low on flashlights. If you guys ever order one of these online, make sure you order the one that hinges. This one doesn't hinge, and the magnets always pull out. Oh, it does squirt. I bet you it starts. Oh, it doesn't. Something's wrong. Okay, let's go to the big squirt. You know, it's kind of like grabbing onto a lawnmower from underneath, eh? Let's see if this does it. All right, it's not the primer. I bet you it's the $1 million bolt. Get it in the air, open the door. It's an older one. I love them anyway. Quantum engine. Alright, furnace on, door open. It's all about the environment for me. Half-inch wrench, half-inch socket, teardrops here. I got my own little process for this, eh? 12-point socket. Hemostat to pinch off the gas line. And yes, I got burned on this. I'm going to look at the fuel. Although Keith's an old technician, so I pretty much know that the fuel is going to be A-OK. Right down there in the deep spot. Oh, Christ, he's almost out of gas. Wouldn't that be something? Well, I'm going to dump it out. At height. Dun, 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 dun. You guys can maybe get a look at that at height dump. Push the mower over to the side. Tilt it up. Up on the Barstool Mountain. Doesn't hurt to drain it out, eh? That was a very controlled fuel though. So there was probably enough fuel in there to make it go, but look at it, it's got a little bit of a blue flavor to it, eh? Now, wipe up the mess, wipe off hands, come back. What's that old country song? Oh my gosh, I climbed up on Barstool Mountain. I'm not going to answer it, it's a double digit. That means it's a call from overseas selling me MasterCard or something. Get you some light. Look how good it's priming. It's squirting right out. So I don't even want to touch that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do the $1,000 bolt. Or the $1 million bolt. over the world, I bet you there's a bunch of small engine mechanics that together have made $1 million on this. I'm not even gonna, I don't want to touch the seal on that. Are you with me, guys like Ken? You know, you've just spent last fall putting the primer seal in there, and once you break them, sometimes they're hard to repair. So all I'm going to do is pull this, and there's nothing in there. Get a clean rag. I'm almost out of rag. Okay, come on up. There's a tiny piece of stuff there. Okay, car cleaner. All right. You get to look too, right? Good. But there is a small piece of dirt on here. I don't think you could pick it up. Now I'm going to take my upside down shooter, right? And I'm going to shoot it right into the side of that carburetor. But enough is enough. There. And I want to shoot right into the emulsion tube. Yeah, it's coming out. So the hesitation should no longer be there. Now there's two other places I'll show you right now where you can squirt without removing the carburetor. We will bend this down. Oops, sorry. We will bend that down, and it's right into that hole there. Can you see that? Let's get my awful light. I'm in a hurry to get this done because my buddy Keith is coming back pretty quick. He dropped this off yesterday afternoon and I didn't have time. Good, it's coming out the bottom, and this goes out the bottom too. Now while I'm at that, I'm going to wipe the lens off of the camera. A little bit of squirt stuff, because that carb spray is hard on everything, eh? Don't mind. Don't blink now. It's going to sting a little bit. There, you okay? Good. What's next? Nothing. I'm going to have a look at the seal on the bowl. It looks good. I think we got a runner. And I'm going to show you that fuel as soon as I get this on. And I'm turning the bowl out to where the paint is, because if you can believe it, they paint these things after they assemble them. So if you get one with a spark plug that has paint on it, that's the original spark plug to the machine. Come on, girly girl. Try the other side. The right hand fits in a bit easier. Excuse me, I'm in the way. Can't be helped. There, now all I'm going to do is tighten that up. Bada boom, bada bing. Where's the socket? Here it is. Always under something, right? Good. Not too tight, not too loose, right? Now let's put a little bit of go juice in there. But right now we're going to look at the old stuff, since I dumped it out of the tank. And you're going to go, aha, that's the problem. Look at, there's quite a bit of stuff in there. So if this works, it should fire up like lickety split, right? With no gas in the head. Lid. Yeah, that's one of the best primers I've ever seen. So it should just fire right up and run even before it had, excuse me, how you doing for looking? Not bad. So before it had a miss when I was running it. I'm going to warm it up. Change the oil from underneath here. I don't think the blade's bad. And we'll have a look at said spark plug. Oh, dog. Oh, let's just do one thing. Take these out. Quarter of a turn each one. Shot of prime again. Okay, the spark plug's hotter than a pistol. And I always take this little pick and I dig right down in there for two reasons. Number one, to see if there's any wire in there from the wire brush. And number two, any carbon, and it's not. And the plug looks really, really good. The tip was just a bit white, so I'm going to measure the. I'm going to measure that plug. Pardon me. BPR2LM. That's right. Whoop. So you back down what we're looking here now. Hopefully you can see. Just measuring this spark plug. First of all, from the tip to ground, because you can't have any leakage, and then I'm going from tip to electrode. 9.63K. It's perfect. 9.64K end to end. It doesn't get any better than that. I'm going to put that back in there, but I'm not touching it. Whoop. Maybe I am. Oh. I wonder how much oil I got. I hope I got like a half a liter. Okay, we're going to put that bung back in there now. It's been draining for a while. I can probably do this. I'm working on my filming. I just used to just get the job done, right? Okay, we got this, and we got this, and this, and this. Let's just put this plug back in there. Looks a little low on oil, you know. I'm going to measure it. My buddy Keith has a right to know, right? If it measures up close to 500 milliliters, which is very close to a half a quart, we're laughing. And it's within a 1/16 of an inch of 500. So that's cool. And put that back in there like that. It's still hot. So that's wonderful. Did you know, like right there, I've got that draining back into there. If you leave that for about 2 hours, you'll hardly even have to wipe that out. That's how viscous oil is. Okay, so I'm just going to put some oil back in this guy, and we're almost done. Yes, and you can strike me dead, critics, but I use 10W30. It's in the book. Plus, we have a multitude of temperatures here where I live. You can be out like I was the other day mowing leaves at 20 degrees Fahrenheit or -5 Celsius. So a multi-grade oil is okay for that. Plus it's got all the Who's-its and zincs and chemicals and soaps and stuff in it that it's supposed to have. Oh, yeah, I got ahead of myself. I like to do this. Okay. It's got oil back in it. Spark plug's been cleaned. Still no air filter yet. I want to just pull it to see if it's... Oh, we gotta let the gas back into the carburetor. So that's a bare bones tune-up except for the carb issue, right? Well, let's try it right now. It should almost be flowing through already, right? I wonder if I have to prime it. Yes. That bothers me a little bit. I'm going to take the top off and see what the intake manifold looks like. Holy smokes, guys, it's got the mildest of misses. And yes, I did let it run out of fuel again. But I think, I just, these have a weird little plastic intake manifold across the top of the motor. And they're one of my favorite engines, so of course I've gotten to know them, right? Okay, so it should be 4 3/8 volts to pull this, and 3 5/16 to get the gas tank off. So let's go 5/16 first. Okay. And another nice thing to do on these is use a magnet when you take. Okay, we're going to take those 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3 out, and if you use a magnet, it'll just make your life a little bit easier, especially if you're a dropsy like myself. So 1, 2, great. And then we peel this back, if it comes, because sometimes this bolt underneath here is tough. And then the dipstick is another 5/16. Because we have to take the cover off, right? Where is that devil? Right there. I'm just looking for something that's making it run a little bit lean, right? Okay, here we go. It might even be just a little bit loose. You don't know. Okay, the 4 bolts that hold on the shroud, rewind, recoil thing, it's already still pretty damn hot. It's running, I think, a little bit hot. Now let's just check out this. I'll show you what the intake manifold looks like. The carburetor goes into it between this flange and that flange, and it's that tube that goes underneath the coil over to here and down into the intake valve. Right? Intake valve's on top, and the exhaust valve's on the bottom out to the muffler and out. I'm just going to poke around with a 1/4 inch nut driver. And it's finger loosely tight. There is kind of a mark on it where the gasket should be. He's hot. I'm going to get a 3/8" wrench and just tighten up the car a little guy. The grays are a little thicker. So I'm just tightening up the carburetor if I can. That's tight. There it is. No, that's tight. Wouldn't be a coil, would it? And it didn't go. I realize it's 21 years old, but it should pull with one start. Man, there's nothing left in the carburetor to clean. But I could look at the interface between the carburetor and the intake manifold. I'm doing this craziness because he's a friend, right? The mower's a friend, and so is the guy who owns it. And his wife is the one who cuts the grass. So there's the story. Do I take that carburetor off of there? Jeez, I don't want to mess up that beautiful primer. Like, I'm thinking, is the coil getting weak? You know what? I should just take that plug out and have a look at the strength of the spark. Let's do that. Like, you and me are shooting in the dark. I use these all the time, these wires, eh? You get a good ground. I think the muffler will be a good ground. Nope. We need a good bolt somewhere that's got no paint on it. There, that should do it. And you go. That thing's hot. I'm going to ground the plug. And then we plug it into the plug wire. We clamp the, and then we can look at the spark plug. If I have it set just right. This is something I do quite a bit, actually. Not a strong spark. Are we there? Yeah. I'm almost tempted to change the coil on this thing, you know that? There's a spark, but it isn't that strong. Let's just try a different plug. In fact, Zippo Vargas sent me a spark plug for this exact reason. There. Now, ground on the outside. Thank you, Zippo. You rock, buddy. Okay, it's a blue spark. I don't know. I've got one in here somewhere that's bent out of shape, more than me. It's got like a 1/4 inch jump on it. Well, we can do that to Zippo's. You know what? I don't have a plug tester, right? Like this, the gap tester. So I'm going to just make one right now. I'm going to just bend this out to 1/4 of an inch. Ooh, that's a good old plug, sir. Okay, that should still jump that. What I did, battery's flashing. I just did that. I'll let you know, it's just a spark, so I'll let you know how it goes. It's jumping across. I'm going to put a new coil. Oh, gee, I don't know. Talk to you later. Okay, now I'm just removing the coil and I'm going to replace the coil. It's just, I used my spark plug tester and it just looks a little dull. I've seen lots of them, so I got a coil over there, I'll just replace it. Okay, there's the coil. Last 1/4 inch bolt, 2 of them, 1, 2. Just pull the coil away and then take off the wire underneath. Right there. And that's it. Right? And we'll put on a new one exactly the opposite, and we put a business card between the post and the coil and the flywheel. You can Google that all day long too. I just want to get this done. Okay, I got the new one in place, but now it's screwed down. I'm not superstitious, but I'm using my lucky Bulldog business card. So I'll just screw those down hand tight, nice. And then I'm going to have a look at the spark again. My battery's flashing on the camera. That's why you're seeing this in intermittent shots. Okay. I'm going to use a drill just to turn this over gently. Remember, the spark plug's out, so it's not that much harder work. There's my spark detector. There's the original spark plug to the machine. That's brighter than it was, but I'm using a drill, not the hand pull. So now let's step back a minute, tighten everything up, and we'll pull it with our hand to see if the spark indicator is any brighter. I think I'm on something. Put this underneath the bracket before you tighten everything up. Oh, I'm on it today, Dad. I am on it. Okay, coil or cover it first. Good. Okay, I'll just put it all together and we'll come back. Okay, sorry about that. I think the coil helped. Let's see if it starts in one pull. Before I put that coil in there, it took 2 pulls. I checked it with my, what do you call it? Spark indicator, and I think it was a bit brighter. And I also changed the the BPR2LM NGK plug. And I'm just going to put that guy in here, back into my spark plug, and I'm going to write on here with a felt pen, test. But I think it was the coil. I'm not taking that carburetor off there. I don't think it needs to. The Briggs carburetors, all they are is 2 tubes. One goes from the primer into the carburetor, and one goes from the front of the carburetor into the tower where the emulsion tube is, but the emulsion tube has no holes in it. So I'm going to stop right here. One more try. Excellent, eh? So that's it. I might keep it till tomorrow. I don't know. He's around, so.